Welcome everyone to the G Money, the Notorious G Money Hoop Show and Report podcast with our host G Money. Let's run the introduction. Let's get it going.
Baby. What's cracking, slacky, cool cast? What's going on, homies? I hope everyone's enjoying their Saturday. Hey, my name is Gideon. You can call me G Money. Hope everyone's doing fine, doing well. Hope you're enjoying your day. And with that, let's talk some amazing basketball. And today we're gonna start talking about the NBA All-Star starters. In the West, you have Steph Curry, John Morant, King James, the Joker, and Andrew Wiggins. Though for Steph Curry, he made his first All-Star team in 2014. This will be his 8th All-Star appearance. So congratulations to the chef for boarding it up this season. Even though he struggled as of late, Steph Curry's had a magnificent season. For John Morant, he's had an electrifying, jaw-dropping campaign. For the Grizz, who are number 3 in the West, his first All-Star game. Congratulations for the electrifying John Morant. For King James, LeBron James, this is his 19th All-Star appearance. For a top 5 player of all time, LeBron James, putting the Lakers on his back. I know the Lakers are struggling this year. LeBron's been in an All-Star game 18 times this year, but he's had a magnificent season. Averaging nearly 30 points per game, top 5 in scoring. 25 straight games, averaging at least 18 points. 18 straight games, averaging at least 25 points or more. For the Joker, the MVP of last year, Nikola Jokic, having some tricks up his sleeve. Nikola Jokic having another magnificent season. This is his, for Nikola Jokic, this is his 4th All-Star appearance. So congratulations for Nikola Jokic, averaging a double-double, crashing the glass, dishing the rock, can stretch the floor, can bang in the post. And Andrew Wiggins, the first overall pick back in the 2015 draft, his first All-Star appearance. Wiggins has been stupendous for the Dubs, shooting nearly 50% from the field, 40+% from downtown, has been electrifying this season for the Warriors. Congratulations to Andrew Wiggins. Now with that, let's go to the East All-Star starters. So for the Eastern Conference, you have the Greek Freak making his 6th All-Star appearance. For the Finals MVP, the Greek God has been jaw-dropping. He can go to the rack. He can post up. He can hit. He's improved his jump shot. He can protect the rim and work on his free throws. DeMar DeRozan, Double D, has been juicy in the 4th quarter. One of the most clutchest players in the 4th quarter this season. Averaging nearly 30 points per game, averaging 27 this year. And he has been a big time for the Chicago Bulls. Joel Embiid, who has been absolutely amazing this season for the 76ers. Joel Embiid, the process, giving you 29 points per game, 11 boards, 4 dishes on 50% from the field, 37% from downtown, going to his 5th All-Star appearance. And Ice Trey Young has been terrific. His 2nd All-Star appearance. He got snubbed last year. This year, he's back to it, and he's looking to help the Hawks soar to the playoffs. And the Hawks have won 6 in a row. They're on fire. And Durantula, he was supposed to make his 12th All-Star appearance, but he hurt his foot. He had an MCL injury against the Pelicans. So he may not play in this All-Star game on February 20th, which you see that in Cleveland. But he's the captain. The captain for the West is LeBron. The captain for the East is KD. DeRozan is in his 5th All-Star game. Grief Freak is in his 6th All-Star game. And Embiid in his 5th All-Star game. And Aisha in his 2nd All-Star game. So congratulations to the Eastern Conference All-Stars. So what do I think about the All-Star starters? What do I believe about that? The Eastern Conference, I have no problem with it personally. DeRozan deserved to be in there. He's been one of the most clutchest players in the NBA. His mid-range shots, improved his three-point shot this year, especially in the 4th quarter against the Pacers and the Wizards, hitting buzzer beaters for those against those teams. So he's been amazing for those teams all year. Giannis Antetokounmpo, he's just getting better and getting better and getting better. Averaging nearly 30 points per game. He's the Finals MVP. He's trying to get another cup, trying to get another ring in his finger, trying to help the Bucks become a dynasty. He's had a magnificent season. Last night against the Knickerbockers, he took the Knicks' lunch money and pretty much took Julius Randle's manhood last night. 38 points, 13 rebounds last night. He was magnificent last night. He just destroyed the Knicks last night, and he's just been phenomenal all season. Joel Embiid, multiple games of 30-plus points or more, crashing the glass, doing a good job protecting the rim, athletic freak, but especially without Ben Simmons. And Philadelphia's number is what? Number... If you look where Philadelphia is at right now, Philadelphia is number 6 in the Eastern Conference. They're only 2.5 back of Miami for number 1. And Philly's not been healthy all year, and they're still playing well. So if Philly can just continue to play like this, they can get to number 1. So if Joel Embiid's played well, and Trey Young, I know the Atlanta Hawks have been very disappointing this season because they're 12th, 11th in the Eastern Conference. However, Atlanta's won 6 in a row after starting off 17-25. And now you see the Hawks are sharing the ball more. Now you see the space in the floor more. And now they're getting healthier. If they can get Clint Capella back later, they have a great chance to make the playoffs, man. So Trey Young's done a great job. So with that, let's go to scores on Thursday. On Thursday, Philadelphia beat LA 105-87. AD had a monster performance, 31 points and 12 rebounds. However, it didn't matter because the process had 26 points, 9 boards, and 7 dishes in there. But the star of the show was also Tobias Harris with 23 points, had an efficient 10 for 15 from the field, 3 or 5 from downtown, 5 boards, 4 dishes though. Matisse Thybulle 8 points, 2 dishes in there, and he was in the passing lanes, and he had his go-go gadget arms, got a lot of steals, 4 steals though. Korkmaz had 6 points though, and Niang had 14 points off the bench, and he was dead-eye from downtown, 4-6 from long range. And what helped Philadelphia, LA shot 6 for 29 from long range. And also Philly out-dished LA 30-19 in that game on Thursday night. So Sixers beat the Lakers 105-87 on Thursday night. The T-Wolves beat the Warriors 125. The Warriors beat the T-Wolves, my fault, 124-115. Golden State was hotter than a sauna in the third quarter, outscoring Minnesota 38-20, which did the trick for them. Chef Curry broke out of his shooting slump, 29 points, 8 boards, 6 dishes, shot 10 for 20 from the field, 6 for 10 from downtown. Klay Thompson was lining it up with 23 points, 9 of 16 from the field, 5 of 9 from downtown, and he was big time for the Warriors. But Jordan Poole, man, it was a pool party at Dub Nation. 19 points off the bench, 5 of 10 from the field, was going to the basket at will. Here's what killed Minnesota. Minnesota shot 10 for 44 from downtown on Thursday night, which was awful. And the Warriors shot 21 for 36, my fault, from downtown. Salute, Maria. How you doing? Yeah, let's go next. Let's go. And the Warriors shot 21 for 36 from downtown. They were red hot. And let's go to last night's games. Let's go to last night's games. The Magic beat the Pistons 119-103. The Hornets put the Lakers in a swarm 117-114. The Lakers were down 20 in the third quarter, came all the way back to tie the game at 81, but they could never really regain control, and they lost the game by 3 points. Russ had an opportunity to win the game at the horn, but the ball tap danced out of the rim, and the Hornets survived 117-114. The Hawks beat the Celtics 108-92. John Collins had 21 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 blocks in that game. So Atlanta continues to soar, 6 straight wins. Trae Young with 21 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 dishes. So Trae Young is not starting to put his team on his back. And here's what helps. Even though he didn't shoot well, 8 for 25, he made some big plays in the fourth quarter. Danilo Gallinari had a monster game, 14 points off the bench, and he was perfect. 5 of 5 from the field. Bogey Bogdanovic had 19 points, and he was dead-eye, 7 for 14 from the field. So now you see that the Atlanta Hawks are not starting to find their rhythm again. All right, let's keep going. The Nuggets beat the Pelicans 116-103. The Heat beat the Clippers 121-114. The Blazers beat the Rockets 125-110. Jimmy Butler had 26 points for the Heat, 9 dishes and 6 rebounds. And Miami Heat continue to flambe the league, 32-17. And Miami, they just have a lot of balance, man. The Miami Heat are very, very balanced. I mean, look at this. PG Tucker at 18. Bam Bam gave you 20 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists. Vincent gave you 23 points, 3 dishes. Duncan Robinson's not starting to find his rhythm. 16 points, 4 for 7 from downtown, 6 of 9 from the field. Tyler Hero has been a superhero. 11 points off the bench, 5 of 12 from the field, though. So Miami has a lot of balance, though. And with that, let's keep going. The Blazers beat the Rockets 125-110. The Grizz beat the Jazz 119-109. The Pacers overcame the Thunderstorm 113-110 in overtime. The Spurs put the Texas whip on the Chicago Bulls to spoil the return of DeMar DeRozan 131-122. DeJounte Murray had a magnificent game, 29 points, 12 dishes, 9 boards. Good win for the Spurs. My young and fun Phoenix Suns continue to shine bright. They win 134-124 over the Minnesota Timberwolves, who were very, very pesky, by the way. For Phoenix, Cam Johnson was big. He started for us over Jay Crowder because he had a left wrist injury. Cam Johnson was red hot, 23 points, 5 of 9 from downtown. Mikal Bridges was big time, 18 points, 6 of 9 from the field. Did a good job hitting mid-range shots and threes. Biyombo looked like Bismack. Biyombo was big time, 14 points, 12 boards. CP3, the point guy, 21 points, 14 dishes, 10 boards. Did a great job setting up the offense. And Devin Booker, he didn't shoot well, 10 for 26, but he hit some timely shots for the Suns in the fourth quarter, 29 points, and did a good job dishing around 9 dishes, found the open man. Landry Shamet broke out of his 10-game slump with 17 points. It hit some timely threes in the fourth quarter, though. And Jalen Smith had 10 points off the bench. Phoenix was smoking hot, hitting 20 out of 39 from downtown and shot 51% from the field. Minnesota hanged in there. Anthony Edwards had 27 points, 10 boards. Big Cat with 23 points. Tony Prince at 14 off and Malik Beasley at 26 points, and he was higher than a pepper spray with 26 points, but it wasn't enough for the T-Wolves, who are number 8 in the Western Conference. And last but and certainly not least, the Milwaukee Bucks beat the New York Knickerbockers 123-108. The Greek Freak was the Knicks' daddy last night. 38 points, 13 rebounds, 5 dishes last night. And also, he had no blocks, but 38 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 dishes, though. Milwaukee has beaten New York 3 times this season. They lost the first meeting by 15 after being up by 21, and then they won the last 3 meetings, though. Chris Middleton, 20 points. He didn't shoot well, 7 of 18 from the field, but did a good job containing RJ Barrett, containing RJ to 6 of 20 from the field. Bobby Porter shot 2 for 10. But Drew Holiday gave you 24 points, 10 dishes, did a great job sharing the rock. Grayson Allen had 15 for the Bucks. My fault. For the Bucks. And that was it. For the Knicks, I mean, Evan Fournier gave us 25 points. RJ Barrett did have 23 points, but he was 6 for 20, so he struggled from the perimeter. Julius Randle, man. Julius Randle continues to be quiet. 9 points. Yeah, he had 11 rebounds, which I'll give him that, but 9 points and only took 9 shots. That's unacceptable. And other than Quentin Grimes in the first half, who had 11, no one else really did much. Burks had 10 points, but he didn't have a real impact. And right now, the Knicks are struggling. They lost 6 out of the last 7. They're slumping right now. New York is in the gutter. They have a horrible schedule. They have a 5-game road swing coming up. And if they don't figure things out now, the season may be over soon. For the Bucks, they trying to figure things out. And now Milwaukee, they got a win against the struggling Knicks team. And now the Bucks are number 4 in the Eastern Conference. And now it's your scores from last night. For today's schedule, you got the Celtics and the Pelicans at 7 o'clock. You got the Pacers and the Mavs at 7. You got the Kings and the Sixers at 7:30. You got the Raptors and the Heat at 8 o'clock tonight. You got the Wiz and the Grizzlies at 8 o'clock tonight. And then on ABC, a potential juicy matchup between the Nets and the Warriors in Dub Nation. Bay Area! Tune in for that game. Kyrie, Uncle Drew, look at the sauce, dance, Prince, Boogie, Oogie. And you have the beard James Harden looking to put cats in the blender versus Chef Curry and Klay Thompson look to splash long balls. Look to put you guys, put the Nets in the spin cycle. That should be a fun game. Potential NBA Finals preview. I got the Nets coming out the East. I got the Suns coming out the West. But if the Warriors can just stay healthy, they'll be a tough out. So that's the schedule for tonight. Okay, and with that, we'll talk about trade rumors, and I'll let people come in if they want to speak their mind. So here are the trade rumors that's going on right now. You have the Sacramento Kings rejecting the Ben Simmons deal because of the asking price of Ben Simmons. I kind of see why Sacramento, rejected the Ben Simmons deal. Because Sacramento was trying to trade Buddy Hield, Halliburton, and other players to get Ben Simmons. But the fact that Ben makes a lot of money and the way his attitude is, I think it was best for the Kings to not make that move. And it was best for the Kings to, just keep their team. I would suggest for the Kings to try to get a big man that can score in the paint. That's what Sacramento needs if they want to be a better team. There's also a rumor of the Portland Trail Blazers potentially trading CJ McCollum. Though in the rumor, there's a potential that CJ McCollum could get traded after Anthony Simons continues to improve. Because Anthony Simons has just had a phenomenal season for the Blazers, though. And Anthony Simons for the Trail Blazers it's giving them 16 points per game, 45% from the field, 41% from downtown, multiple 20 plus point games, 30 point games. So the Blazers might trade CJ McCollum so Simons can grow even more. The Celtics and Hawks have discussed a trade for Marcus Smart. Ironically, two teams who duke it out last night. That'll be fun. So who knows that can happen. If I were the Knicks, I think teams like New York can use Marcus Smart. Maybe Utah can use Marcus Smart because he's a hard-nosed defender that can space the floor. Could tonight be a Fox showcasing? Possibly. Could be a Fox showcasing. Possibly. And speaking of De'Aaron Fox, we'll see that little sneaky Fox on Monday night in New York City when the Kings play the Knicks in MSG. And and that's really much that's it with the trade rumors as far as. Well, another trade rumor is that the Lakers were trying to get Buddy Hield, but they're trying to get Buddy Hield, but trying to trade THT for Buddy Hield, but I don't think that's going to happen. And also, the Knicks also are considering trading Julius Randle to Sacramento or Indiana or anywhere. If I were New York, you have to consider trading Julius Randle at this point because Randle's a good player, but his mind's not in the game, and I don't know. And what trade do I? And the trade that I want teams to do, the trade that I would love to see to do, the trade that I would want to see if I were New York. I would personally trade Julius Randle, maybe Alec Burke or Kemba Fournier or Kemba Walker. I'm sorry, Julius Randle, Kemba Walker, and maybe a few picks for KPJ and Christian Wood. I would do that if I were the Knicks. Because if you get Kevin Porter, you get a dude that can space the floor, that can shoot the ball, that can pass and penetrate. If you get Christian Wood, you get a dude that can shoot, a dude that can bang in the post, that can attack the rack, and a dude that's athletic. Or another trade New York can do. You can trade, considering Julius Randle, maybe Evan Fournier, and maybe a pick or so for Karis LeVert and Domantas Sabonis if you can. Here's why. Sabonis can help the Knicks with scoring the post, can stretch the floor, can make free throws, and he's mentally tough and doesn't want to be the number one guy. Karis LeVert can stretch the floor, can create his own shot, and can get to the rack. So if I were the Knicks, I would consider trading Julius Randle if I were New York. Because even though Randle is a good player and he had a phenomenal season last year, this season, his attitude and the lack of consistency has not helped the team improve. 19 comment. Are we willing to discuss the Knicks trade or trade talks right now, man? Because here's the thing, I don't see the Wolves trading Karl-Anthony Towns. I just don't see it, 19 con. I don't see Minnesota trading Karl-Anthony Towns. I just don't see it, man. I mean, LeVert is injury prone, but I don't see it. And 19 comment, you could come in if you want to. If anyone wants to come in, including Jedi, you guys can come in and we can chat about the trade rumors, about what's in your mind. I won't mind it. We can talk about what's going on with sports, basketball, life. Yeah. And with that, this is Jedi. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Salute you, money. I just wanted to give you your pound of flesh there. Good work there. 19 comments. Salute, man. Appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you supporting Maria and everyone in the Facebook app. Thank you for all those in the Facebook app that are watching us and viewing us. Thank you for running those likes on the Facebook app as well as the YouTube channel for the Notorious G Money Hoop Show. So salute to you guys. Let's get right into the trade. I was made. Let's go for the very first one you mentioned with the. I like the Karis LeVert. I didn't think about that. Please
Mhm.
elaborate. Repeat that Karis LeVert ideal move.
If I were New York, I would consider Julius Randle, maybe Kemba Walker, or Burks, one of them, for Karis LeVert, and maybe if you can, Sabonis, if you can. That's what I would consider. Because even though Randle is a good player that can score in the paint, he doesn't. His mindset this year has not been there, and Sabonis doesn't want to be the number one guy. He's a guy that's willing to play for the team. Julius Randle's a good player, but my problem with Julius is that he thinks he's better than what he is right now. And I think Randle will flourish more if he go to a smaller market team. So if I were in New York, I would consider that move. Excuse me.
I'm thinking about. I gotta first see them if the salary matches. If they, but Sabonis, Randall, kind of guys have the similar type of numbers. If you while I elaborate on my point,
Sabonis
let
is
me
only
know.
making 18 million this year. Sabonis.
All right, but do you have his numbers? Last year's NBA numbers and today and current NBA numbers, or his average scoring. Because last year they weren't they like almost lockstep of making the All Star, and Julius outbeat, out nudged Sabonis in the All Star. That's why they have these battles back and forth. Kind of like a similar type of player with numbers and stats. The way they played
Well,
last year. Yeah, go
right,
ahead.
right. Sabonis last year averaged 20 points, 12 boards, and 7 assists last year. This year's averaging 19 points, 12 boards, and 5 assists.
And to Julius Randle's numbers.
Julius Randle last year averaged 24 points, 10 boards, and hang on.
Well, we know that he
Randle
has better numbers last year, Julius Randle. But okay, and this year,
this, this year, if you want to round up, 19
right?
points per game, 10 boards, and 5 assists.
The numbers on Julius Randle looks great. The eye test on Julius Randle, as
Mm-hmm.
fans, were like, ugh, it looks
Nah, son.
bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a bonus. But that's why sometimes numbers could be misconstruing
Right.
and mislead us the wrong ways. But when you talk to other GMs and see those numbers, Randall's numbers is very, very appeasing, especially at 23 million, 21 to 23 million dollars a year. You could move him, and for Sabonis, if he gives you 90 night out. Here's one thing that Julius Randle does not have that Domantas Sabonis has, and his height. Sabonis is as a 6'11" power forward who could play stretch 4 or 5 at times. I could and stretch 4 to stretch that play stretch 5 at
Mm-hmm.
small increments. Will help the New York Knickerbockers, also stretch
Mm-hmm.
the floor. And of course, Carmen, you're absolutely 1,000% correct. His body language is a problem because you especially what we were talking about before last year. We need to come in here and change the culture. We need to change the culture. We need to change the culture. And last year was phenomenal. But if you're reverting back to the bad culture with the body language looking bad, pouting, dysfunctional, then did we really fluke last year and we're back to square one, a dysfunctional franchise, which is not. Well, I don't think so because you have stability, you have draft picks, you have an influx of young talent that's being developed, that's about to develop. Now with the New York Knickerbockers, now you see that you might have to move Julius Randle. You might have to take instead of getting a full dollar's worth of trade value, you might have to get it 75 cents to the dollar right now. I wouldn't go any lower than I wouldn't even go 50 cents for a dollar for Julius Randle. I would try to sell him at 75 cents per dollar. You lose the 25 cents because sometimes you might have to take a step back to take 3 leaps forward. And maybe that's what it is. I definitely would like his skill set, but as like hello Maria, salute Maria. Thank you for joining us.
How
Thank
you
you for
doing?
supporting G Money and the program and the network. I appreciate it. When I mentioned since last March back in on when I was on Nick's Real Talk before, I always kept saying, Randall's here, yeah, he's popping off, but I think the front office, and I was told by a really good executive from the Orlando Magic that the next organization was trying to move him and still might look to move him because they didn't see him. They seen this. They knew about this. The organization knew about this. They knew about what they were getting in Randall, and they were feelers. Now, the fact that they signed him here for that money doesn't mean nothing wrong. Because it's a smart move. If they would have waited this year and they would have gave Julius Randle a contract, then you have to wait another 2 years because then you won't be able to. There's trade restrictions by giving him the contract earlier that they gave him this year. Now he's able to be moved February 3rd. Now, if they would have waited, they would have started next year. And let's say he has now another year and a half, and we're going through the same song and dance last next year. You can't trade Julius Randle until probably the other summer. That's what happens to the Indiana Pacers with Malcolm Brogdon. They cannot move him this year. They have to wait until the
Right.
summer because he accepted a contract and
Mhm.
extension at what he did. Those are enhanced of moving those contracts. So that was a smart move on the front office. As much as we're frustrated with the front office and saying, what in the world are they doing? They're quiet. We want them to fix nothing's reaction. They're smart. They're pretty smart out there. I trust them. I trust their judgments. And despite the fact you could say Fournier sucked and doesn't work, but also you look at his numbers. G Money, give me T Fournier's numbers. His numbers look decent.
Well, Evan Fournier, and I know there was a span he shot almost 40+%, shot 40+% for three in the month in this month. But Evan Fournier this year is giving you 14 points per game. He's not shooting well from the field, 42%, but 39% from downtown.
Those are still good numbers. For a general manager who's looking that says, man, I need a wing, a 3 and D who could come in here and they see the numbers. Although they're not gonna, they just gonna look at numbers, analytics. Remember now this year, now these front offices and a lot of these organizations are all analytics driven numbers
Right.
and they'll look at those numbers. Oh, they'll fit on this team.
Fo-
And there's a trade market for Fournier as well. Believe
Fournier
it or
can
not.
fit on the Lakers. If you put him on the Lakers or the Heat or even the Jazz, I think he would fit there.
Yeah, and like 13 comments said, I hope we find some way to get Killer Cam some minutes. I've been a proponent. I'm a huge fan of Cam Reddish. Like I mentioned
Mhm.
again back in March when I was on Rich Real Talk, I will talk about the and I mentioned that and it's on record. If March 24th, 27th, one of those videos that are that's timestamped. I said Randall. Don't be surprised in the future. Randall won't be here. Zion will be the power forward. Cam Reddish will be the wing, and RJ Barrett. And I said it. It's
I can
there.
see that.
I cannot hide it. It's been saying that for a year now.
It can,
And I'm not looking for the credit or patting myself on the back. I'm not. I'm just saying that I felt that way, and I spoke it, and I've said it, and I felt that it was just a gut instinct, and it's coming. You see, I'm not saying Zion is here or is going to be here, but 2/3 of that is coming true here, and there is, and you could see certain moves ahead of time, what's being built. And with the point said, they are going to find minutes for Cam Reddish. And even if you will have to wait until February 10th. I think Cam Reddish is going to play. You cannot teach size, 6'8" with a
Mhm.
7'2" wingspan on
Mhm.
there, athletic, young, 22 years old. You can't teach that. I think Alec Burks' days as a New York Knicks, I think is over. I think
Numbered. I think it's
they're
numbered.
numbered. And they're numbered. I like. They don't get me wrong. I love Alex Burks, what he brings,
Mhm.
his instant offense, but a very inconsistent player.
Right.
I think he might have been run down. I think the month of November and December, it's weighed on him because he really
Yeah.
played his rear end off. Too bad he's going on a tailspin because you would have liked him to continue that same even keel because you would have got probably a first round pick. Since the Knicks are collecting assets for Alec Burks, but now you could trade him, you could move him, you could put him in a team that needs some offense and coming off the bench the way he played. Could a Utah Jazz could use
They
him,
could
but I
use
don't
him.
think in a 3-team
Or
deal.
even the
You know,
Memphis Grizzlies. They can use Al Burks.
Grizzlies, well, especially a veteran off the bench. They're awfully young. You bring a veteran like Burks, what he could bring, who has played with young players and proved it in New York, how he could navigate with the young talent, play quickly, as fast as not manual quick. I'm talking about quick. They play quick pace, tempo with the second unit that we have in New York, with a team like Memphis who's young and needs that veteran who is not going to be detrimental. He's going to and actually help them carry them for maybe 5 minute spurts in a game. That's Alec Burks.
Right. But there's also some rumors here. James Harden potentially going to Philadelphia, assuming what happens with the Nets in their playoff run. Depending on what do you think about that? Harden potentially going to the 76ers. Do you think that's going to happen?
I mentioned that. I started thinking about that, and then I started looking. I think it's all smoke screens. The reason why that's floated out there, guys. It's all about finances and money.
Right.
James Harden, if he were to sign right now his extension, he's losing it one more year, and he's not $45 million by him signing the extension now. Now, by him waiting at the end of the season, he could get the supermax, an extra year, 5 year, and $45 million more. That's the reason why he's saying he's not going to sign. Doesn't mean he's not going to re-sign. He's not going to sign at the moment with Brooklyn, but he will re-sign at the end of the year. You
Right.
know, you saw Kevin Durant already sign his deal early part, because if they both sign these super max with those, they'll be totally capped out, and one won't be able to have not even better an assumption. They're gonna have to go strictly draft. So that was a smart move. Because remember, in the NBA bird rights, you're allowed to go over your cap to sign your own players. Yes, there's going to be heavily tax, but I think Brooklyn's front office willing to pay that. And just you throw a little chum out there, see what cause disarray to other franchises. Wouldn't you
Mhm.
want to cause a little panic to your Philadelphia 76ers, thinking about a trade and getting them all gassed up? We need to make a move, and
Right.
teammates play on edge. That's a ploy by the Brooklyn Nets. That's the same thing we saw in football when Jerry Jones threw chum out when he wanted from the Jets, the safety, that got traded to Seattle. They threw that chum out there, and the Jets were panicking mode, and they ended up trading him Seattle to, and it's just, those are just things in the water. The same thing with the Wizards. Watch out! Don't think that Bradley Beal is not leaving Washington. He is not. He is staying there. By him saying he's not going to take that, he's just saying, I'm going to wait until the end of the season when I'm eligible because of the service time to get that
Mhm.
fifth year and get that super max. That's all it is. That's it is. Now, could there be a
Right.
sign and trade? Now, does not incent Brooklyn or Washington to do a sign and trade on that supermax and then move them. They could still do that. They could sign
Mhm.
Bradley Beal for that fifth year for that supermax and then trade him away. Yes, that could
Yeah.
happen, but I don't think that's going to happen at the trade deadline.
Right. Because here's another thing too. I don't see the Wizards making a move. I don't see the Wizards trading Beal because they're trying to make the playoffs. They're in the plane right now. That's some bad losses in this plane. Washington, that they blew a 35-point lead to the Clippers at a Silo Chris, by the way. Silo Jimmy Butler. Hey, big win for your Heat, by the way. Washington, they're not trading Bradley Beal. I don't see it. He's always been in trade rumors his whole career. He's always been, and he's still a Wizard now. I don't think they're going to trade him because he's loyal. Bradley Beal needs to understand this. I understand loyalty, but sometimes loyalty cannot get you anywhere. Your team has been mediocre your whole career. Sometimes in life, you have to put yourself in a winning situation. The Wizards' ceiling with Bradley Beal has been really the second round in 2015 and 2017 and in 2014, but you have not gone to the Eastern Conference Finals, and that was with John Wall. If I were Bradley Beal, just leave Washington, go to a playoff caliber team, a championship team, and have a shot to win a championship. I understand Washington DC is a great city. I get it. But the Wizards have been a mediocre franchise the whole time. The Wizards have not given them the pieces for them to succeed. And Bradley Beal to me is more of a number two option, not a number one that could be a championship team. So if I were Bradley Beal, he has to realize that the Wizards are not going to win a championship with this roster. Think about it. The Wizards were 10-3 to start the season. Now they're 2 games under 500. Now they're 13-22 in their last 35 games, and now they're 23-25. And here's what's bad with Washington. They're on a 4-game losing streak. You got destroyed by the Celtics by 29. Tatum had a monster game for 51 points, hit 9 threes. You lose by 1 point to the Nets. You lose a heartbreaker to the Raptors. And then the Clippers game. You blow a 35-point lead, right? You had a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter, and you give up a 4-point play to Luke Kennard.
Hold on, I got that play here. I'm
Mm-hmm.
glad you mentioned. I'm glad you mentioned that. Let's take a look at that 4-point play.
Kennard got to watch out. 3 seconds, puts up the shot, hits it, and the foul. Are you kidding me?
If you're Washington in that moment, I will salute Chris. I would not mind Bradley Beal in New York. I would not mind him. Him in New York would be nice. But if you're Washington, why didn't you just foul Luke Kennard when he got the ball the first time? Or heck, why didn't you foul the ball handler when he got into the full, to near the basket? Because if you're up by 3, wouldn't common sense tell you, hey, let's foul so they don't have a shot to tie the game? Why foul in the motion? That is ridiculous if you're the Wizards. Even then, another thing too people don't mention, Kyle Kuzma up by 3 had a chance to inbound and cause a 5-second violation. If he inbounds the ball, they kill clock. They win that game. And another reason why the Wizards lost: Harold missed a free throw. Kuzma missed a free throw. The Wizards had an 8-point lead with 30 seconds to go. How do you lose that game? You had a 6-point lead with 10 seconds to go and lose. I don't know, man. I don't know. But Washington, I don't know. They're going downhill. But I would love Bradley Beal in New York because Bradley Beal to me will be that guy that could help score the ball and create his own shot. If you get Bradley Beal, you had to trade Evan Fournier. If you want to get Bradley Beal, you had to trade Evan Fournier and maybe some other players in there. What do you think, Jedi?
I don't know. Then you're stumping. You put Beal, you're stumping Reddish as well as RJ. I like Beal. Yes. What is he going to command? If on a sign and trade, he's going to be a $40+ million player. Are we ready to commit all that kind of money on it? Hey, if he's going to take us to the next level, that's taking. That means like Chris said. RJ or Randall. Randall's got to go. Randall has to be the one that has to leave. And of course, Washington doesn't want an Evan Fournier. I agree with you, Chris. Washington does not want an Evan Fournier on their team because they have they have shooters. They have Davila. They have Kuzman. They also have Rudy Hachimura. Players like that. Where are you going to find those minutes with a Fournier? They want to build something. They want someone to build with. I can see that. Why
Right, I get that.
Yeah, so it's interesting there. I think you mentioned earlier. Let's revisit that trade proposal you mentioned with Houston.
Yeah, KPJ and Christian Wood. Yeah.
I've been mentioned when that issue came out with
John Lucas
III, and that ugly situation. I said keep an eye on Washington. Keep an eye, on the Rockets here. I'm not saying they were going to be a trade proponent with the Knicks, but seeing what has perspired in the last 2 weeks since then in New York with Julius Randle and company, and his action, his attitudes, maybe you have to think about it. Remember I was saying, a few seconds earlier, you have to probably sell Randle 75 cents on a dollar,
right?
And if push comes to shove, if he's really that detrimental, 50 cents on a dollar. I didn't say I will go 50 cents, but Christian Wood. You bring in a Christian Wood with Kevin Porter Jr. I know Kevin Porter. A lot of people don't like him. I don't know enough about him to make an opinion if he's a valuable point guard or not. I don't have any opinion on that. So I know about Christian Wood. He's only making 13.5, let's say $14 million a year. Kevin Porter Jr. still on his rookie contract. So he's under, you could actually trade 2 for 1 with a Randall. And if you want to give up a second round pick, to the Houston Rockets to bring that in there. You're sending Randall back to Houston, although he's from Dallas, but it's still the state of Texas, about an hour and a half away in distance from. Hopefully, I might be wrong, but about an hour and a half away from Dallas. He's back home in his state in Texas. He could see the Cowboys. He could root for the Cowboys. He could wear his Cowboys jersey there because don't forget, Randall, I haven't forgot that. That you were wearing that Cowboys jersey during the midst of when you were playing for the Knicks. But they either say that you could, and then you could move a Mitchell Robinson. You could move a Mitchell Robinson, turn around, move a Mitchell Robinson at $1.8 million, along with if you want to take Burks, and you could actually bring in someone else. John Wall, Chris, John Wall if he wasn't making 40-something million, man. If he wasn't making $44 million, let's say if he was at $32 or $31 million, Chris. I would even think about that.
He also has the Achilles. Don't forget about that.
Because you got another year of him. And then, that's $90 million on a John Wall or $88 million for the next 2 years. That's kind of tough pill to swallow. Yeah, because, he hasn't played that. But, I think hard, but you will have to eat some of that. Yeah. But in this point, if Christian Wood doesn't want to be there, I would definitely. We should sign and trade Mitchell Robinson for a highly value. Conman, that's a good deal, but Mitchell Robinson is looking for a Robin Williams type of number, from Boston. If you compare both of them the way they're played, I think Robin Williams is playing a little more better than Mitchell Robinson, health
You
wise
can
and
make a case.
impactful. You can make a case, and you can also make a case that Mitchell Robinson has a higher upside because when you see Mitchell Robinson at his height, he is a monster. He is a problem, but there's not enough of sample that we could say that. It's like, and his salary is trade bait, 1.8, and you could add that with Fournier and try to get, if you really, really wanted to get Fournier out of here, you could add that, contract. You want Mitchell Robinson with all that upside at 1.8, please take Fournier, and Fournier has good numbers there.
Right,
You mentioned 14 points and so forth. But there's just a salary number that could be a trade bait, or you could
right,
move him and Burks, try to get something back here. You know, there's a lot of play, a lot of situation that you can add and manipulation to try to improve the Knicks, not just short term, but
the
long
long
term.
term.
Because let's face it, Brock Aller and company, they know what the hell they're doing, drafting and salary cap manipulation. They're smart. This front office, it's just not Leon Rose, it's not just Scott Perry, it's not like Worldwide Red, Steve Stroud with his marketing ability. They're doing something good in that front office. I'm going to talk about Stout. With the city edition uniforms that we have this year, that black and orange, beautiful court. They're
Hmm.
changing things. They're doing some positive
Hmm.
things here. The New York
Yeah, they
Knicks.
started using that on Christmas Day. Yeah.
Correct. They're doing that. So, and Hall has a front office. Other than this free agent signing this year in the summer, everything else has been a big hit. They could still fix
Right,
this. They could still
right,
fix
right.
this, and I have confidence they could still fix this. I personally still believe in Tom Thibodeau as a head coach, although he frustrates me not
Hmm.
playing Cam Reddish currently. Now I can see
Hmm.
why. Because now at this point they're showcasing players, Fournier, Burks, Kemba Walker. Let's see. Let's wait until that's why I said last night at the broadcast. I cannot wait for February 3rd to 11th to come quicker. I understand we have to pay bills again. I have to pay my mortgage, the light bill, etc., etc. I dislike that part of the real world, but in the NBA world, these dates cannot come sooner than ever. And stubborn Thibodeau could be stubborn, yes, as really stubborn as a mule. But if you take away these vets and say, here's this youth movement, here's this young influence of young talent, I think and he's a head coach. He knows coaching basketball 101. I think he could coach the hell out of these young kids and play. But he also been in the league for so long, and he knows what not to upset an apple cart. And that's to a fault of his degree. He's going to cater more to the vets because let's face it, they put the work. He's another guy who believes in putting
Right.
in the work. That's what he always says. If you put in the work, if you put in the work, you put in the time, you're going to play. So he's a veteran that comes in there that they put up the work, they put the time, they bust their rear end, and he's going to reward that because he feels that the way he himself put the work, and he identifies himself with that as a lifer, basketball lifer, and he says, how am I going to let Johnny on the spot that just got here take what I worked so hard? I'm just trying to put another perspective, guys, to see why Thibodeau is stubborn. Just bear with me there. I'm trying to see, trying to get in the head of him. Every person is their own world, but maybe I'm trying to understand Thibodeau why he does that. It's the same thing like myself at work. I've been working for my company for so X amount of years, and I see someone new come in here and they just get all this, higher pay. I'm like, wait a minute, I've been here for so damn long, and you come in. This guy just came in the door, and he's already getting X amount of pay. It's totally different world. It's real world, and this is basketball. It's a different world. But I'm just trying to see the pecking order and trying to see how Tom Thibodeau's view his rotation. I just me.
All right. Okay, then. For me, for Tom Thibodeau, I look at both sides here. I understand you need veterans to help you bring some experience, but at the same time, you do need to play some young guys. Like give Grimes some moments. Like don't like because here's the thing: give Grimes some moments. Give McBride some defense, some minutes, so he can play some defense and pass. Heck, give Cam Reddish some minutes because how is he going to develop if he's in the bench most of the time? Why wait till you're down 25 to Miami to play him? That's ridiculous and stupid. Again, I understand Thibodeau. Look, Thibodeau is a good coach. Thibodeau is a good coach, but he needs to look at the situations. I'm not saying it's all on Thibs. That's not what I'm saying because the players have to play and execute. But if Thibodeau wants to, I don't think he's getting fired this year. I doubt it. But if Thibodeau wants to keep this job long term, he needs to be open minded and utilize the talent you have because you can't just rely on your veterans all the time because they're going to get burnt out at some point. You got to shuffle your lineup. What Thibodeau did last year in the second half of the season, he shoved his lineup. Do that now because the season is going to slip away. You lost 6 of your last 7 games. Remember when you were 8-3 and 11 games, man? You were shuffling your lineups. Why'd you stop? And the players too. The only consistent New York Knick, in my opinion, has been RJ Barrett. I understand he struggled last night, but RJ Barrett's been the only consistent Knick that's been aggressive all season. And with that, that's my energy with the Knicks. And another thing too, what do you think about Sacramento denying the Ben Simmons trade? What do you think about that?
Interesting there. With Sacramento, it's hard for me to think what moves that might make sense, or what seems to us to be common sense for them is like they're like bizarro. They're a bizarro organization that do things bizarre. Remember, this is the organization, Sacramento Kings, that they had a chance to draft Luka Doncic ahead of, and they decided to go with Marvin Bagley. This is the Sacramento Kings who've done these kind of moves that just this, you head scratch. So they're like a bizarre organization. I do not know what their thoughts, what their trained thoughts. They definitely have a different lens of view, a lens of us Knicks fans or East Coast executives. So I don't know what they're thinking. G Money. I don't know what their thoughts, why they rejected that opportunity there. And they have a logjam. They have, and only that, you also have the Aaron Fox. You just signed him to a long deal. You got Halliburton, and then you drafted Davion Mitchell. Salute Worldwide L. Welcome.
Salute Worldwide L. What's going on, man? You right?
And then you signed Davion Mitchell. It's like another point guard that it was highly talented. You should have gotten Aspen from the Spaniard. Add more size. You already had point guard. You already had guards. Why didn't you get a forward? When I'm looking at if my memory doesn't deceive me, when they drafted or even had Johnson from Texas Tech, you couldn't. My point is they could have gotten a forward in that position when they decided to get Davion Mitchell again. Another point guard. Or shooting guard, whatever he is right now. Another guard combo when you have a plethora of that same position and good players. Halliburton was phenomenal last season, and De'Aaron Fox, one of the most fastest and smartest point guards in the NBA there. And you draft more again. Like it didn't make it. They don't make sense. They need, like Chris said, they need a new front office. They don't make sense with their moves. So I can't. Right. So they want to bring in Ben Simmons, but they don't want to give up Fox or whoever the case is, and it just I pity being a Sacramento King fan with their frustration. We think we have it bad. Sometimes the grass is not always greener on the other side. We thinking we're frustrated as New York Knicks fans, and you see what the Sacramento Kings are doing, the nonsense or the stupidity of years of ineptitude. It's crazy.
2006 was the last time the Kings made the playoffs. 2006. Like, the problem with the Kings, also coaching firing. The best coach you've had since 2006 has really been Dave Yeager. You fired him. He helped you have a shot making the playoffs in 2019. You let him go. You got Luke Walton. That was ridiculous. Click those likes, please. You got Luke Walton. That was ridiculous because he ran no system. You got Alvin Gentry now. He's not a great coach. His system doesn't work. The problem with the Kings is that they don't run plays. They don't share the ball. They don't defend at all. The only rim protection, even Shaq stepped down. Like, even Shaquille O'Neal stepped down. I don't blame Shaq for doing that. Because
I got a Papa John's endorsement that I got to go do. I don't got time for the Sacramento Kings.
I don't blame you because the team is basuda, man. It's trash. It's garbage. The Sacramento Kings, man, that team is garbage, man. Like, they have not made a playoffs since 2006. They're 18-32 right now. Even if somehow this team wouldn't make the play-in, they're not that far back from the play-in. If somehow they make the play-in and somehow they have a magical run to the playoffs, they're getting destroyed in the first round. The Kings, it's like, where are they going? If I were De'Aaron Fox, I feel bad for him because it's like you're on a bad team with no direction. Buddy Hield, I heard the Lakers want Buddy Hield. Like, I heard they were trying to trade THT for Buddy Hield. What do you think about that, Jedi?
They've been, they've been trying to trade Buddy Hill since last summer. You
The
know,
Kings.
he was not so long ago. I remember him going crazy in the NCAA tournament. It's like you got pieces to build, but salute Kelvin. So Kelvin, salute my main man in the building. With I don't know, because they have, on paper they look like they have a hell of a good team. Not the greatest, but a good team there. You got Fox, you got Hill, you have Halliburton. Players that we're craving, we're forming on the mouth that we would love to have
Holmes,
on our team.
Thompson, Barnes,
Holmes, yes, Rashi Holmes, Thompson, Barnes, Harrison Barnes, a champion. Even myself, I like Marvin Bagley at the right situation.
Davion Mitch. You have what else? You have Metu, who had a game winning against the Kings. Against the Mavs. I'm sorry.
That roster, we're like, darn, that's some nice athletic players that could play. And meanwhile, we're gonna see them firsthand on Monday. And I guarantee you, the Knicks are gonna struggle. They'll probably beat the win, but they'll be a white knuckle burner with the.
And who knows? We might even lose. Who knows? Maybe Sacramento comes out with fire. Who knows? Maybe we're criticizing them right now. Maybe they use this as motivation. It's hey, we suck. Watch this. I think we'll win Monday. I believe we'll win Monday night.
Right.
But knowing
it's
New
not
York,
going to be easy.
It ain't. Sacramento's going to fight. Because don't forget the Kings are trying to make the playoffs too. Don't forget they're right there too. But back to Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
What the Kings need, they need a number one option. The Kings don't have a number one option. If I were De'Aaron Fox, I'm praying to God, get me out of here. If I were De'Aaron Fox, man, if he was in New York or in Philly, he would be happy. Because De'Aaron Fox in New York will be nice for us. He can pass. He's not a great shooter, but he'll get better. He can pass. He's athletic. He can get to the rack. And he has a decent mid-range shot. If he was in Philadelphia right now with Joel Embiid, Seth Curry, and Andre Drummond, you have George Niang, retires Maxey, and you revamp your bench. Philly can do something. I don't understand why the Kings didn't make that move. That was ridiculous, man. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of Ben Simmons to me would fit on the Kings. He would, in my opinion, because to me, he needs to go to a team that is small market. I think he'll fit better on a small market team, so that's not much pressure on him. And Sacramento could have helped him there in that. So I don't understand why the Sacramento Kings didn't try to trade for Ben Simmons. But what do you think about the Portland Trailblazers potentially trade CJ McCollum or Norman Powell? What do you think about that?
And I think I don't think there's a market for them. I don't think people are viewing people. I think NBA executives and teams view more Sacramento Kings roster players on their roster more attractive than a CJ McCullough and Norman Powell. I think Norman Powell is a really good player who could score, play defense, but here's one thing that you could never teach is height. He's too short. He's too short for this modern NBA, and he's good, but man, I feel he's too short in my opinion. And CJ McCullough is that price range, and he's $31 million a year salary. In Portland, here's your opportunity to kind of like carry the team for a moment, and he's okay. He's all right. He's a good player, but man, it's about do you really want to invest your salary cap, 31 million of it, on CJ McCullough? Those are the type of things. I mean, is he tradable? Anybody's tradable. Heck, Kristaps Porzingis could be moved. There's rumors that he might, be moved along with Jalen Brunson together and possibly a New York reunion. Which hells no, I would not do that. I don't think, I wouldn't want that there. But you never know. Ben wants a huge market. I can see him pushing for Boston or Los Angeles. Will be great. Even on Golden.
I don't think he's going to either place. I don't feel it makes sense for Boston or Los Angeles. Personally, for me, I think he should go to a smaller market. That's just me. I don't think Boston, what were you? Because Ben would set up shooters, which I'll give him that. But here's the thing too: if you're the Lakers, why trade for Ben Simmons? Your problem's Russell Westbrook right now. You need shooting. Right. The Lakers need to shoot.
Westbrook shoots too much, Chef.
Ben can't shoot. If you're the Lakers, that would not make sense. He can't shoot though. If I
Westbrook
was
is out of control. Let me talk a little bit about the Lakers for a second, real quick, real quick.
go ahead.
Westbrook shoots too much.
Yes, he does.
He drives the paint. He turns the ball over furiously like crazy.
Yes, he does.
You could put Ben Simmons to do the same thing as Westbrook, but the only difference is he's not going to go shooting crazy, and he might not even turn the ball as much as, and he's going to set up his other players. I think it might help. It might, my opinion. I think it will help the Lakers. You see him setting up and getting good shots for Carmelo Anthony, or street clothes when he plays, when he doesn't wear his uniform on the street, sitting on the, or even helping LeBron James and just have him take a little, relax a little more. I think Ben Simmons in Los Angeles will be dangerous, in my opinion.
Nah,
Okay.
nah,
I mean,
Ben
we could agree
can't.
to disagree.
Ben Simmons, to me, if you put Ben Simmons in Atlanta, he will be dangerous there. Or Ben Simmons and to me, I don't think Ben can. I don't think Ben can shoot. I don't, because even when he tries to shoot, again, Ben is a good player. He's a good player. I'm not saying he's a good defender. He's a good passer, but I don't think he can shoot. I really don't think he can.
All right.
Because if he can, because he can't tell me he can shoot, but you don't want to take shots. It's not like he's contested. There's times in which he's open, but you don't take open shots, though. Again, I understand Ben can pass and defend. I'll give him all of that. But the Lakers' problem is that you need a point guard that can space the floor to help out LeBron and AD. I kind of doubt this. If the Lakers had DeJounte Murray, if the Lakers can get DeJounte Murray, that would be dangerous. DeJounte Murray or SGA on the Lakers with LeBron and AD would be dangerous. What do you think about that?
But they would be, but neither one are on the trading. No, neither one has been rumored to be in the trading move. And that's why we go back to Simmons, because he's the only one of the big names that is named to be on the trading move. Anyone could be traded, but we're talking about what information we know that they're on the trading. They're available to be traded, and Simmons. Back to
I
that.
heard John Wall might go to the Lakers. That's what I heard about.
Okay,
that.
that might be another move that could be moved there for Westbrook. That could move there because Westbrook will make more money with taxes being going back into Houston and so forth. Same contract, but he'll end up getting more money because of the state taxes in Texas. But with Simmons in Los Angeles, and I'll wrap up my point with that there. One guy that could actually get him a little bit out of his shell. I think you get more stock if a guy like LeBron James comes to you and say, "Hey Ben, I need you to shoot more, man." Get in his head. You listen to more of that advice. Sometimes you're not. You. Sometimes there's a saying, no one listens to their own home prophet. You have to have a prophet from outside to bring you a message. And I'm saying is maybe a LeBron say taking him under his wing and so speaking to him, say, "You need to shoot, man. When you have that open shot, you have the green light. You've seen, and LeBron has example. I have deferred to other players. You could say I'm the greatest player in this generation, and I still defer. It's okay, Ben, to you want to defer. Now, maybe Embiid doesn't have that leadership quality, and by knocking him on the pissed him off. I think that's a person that could get that message into a Ben Simmons is a LeBron James. There's cachet to it, as well as a Curry. They could talk to him and have that cachet. And maybe break that shell that Simmons, that timid. I think that could help. That's why I think that trade will work. And in a nutshell, I know you're not gonna like what I'm gonna say here, but I think even in the city of New York, I think could also unlock a Ben Simmons. I know I'm unpopular with this opinion, but I think you tell me, let's line up with height wise. You got Ben Simmons, R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish, Obi Toppin, and if you keep Mitchell Robinson. Or if you trade for whatever, and you think about the height disparity we have on the perimeter and in the inside, and your weakest link on that also defensively. Now you could have Thibodeau coach whatever defense he wants, rotating with height, guys with assignment, athletic, young, and Thibodeau could be like a pig in crap, with his guys rotating and playing defense, and then of course the bench unit, we got Quickly and so forth. Wow, that's a dream come true for Tom Thibodeau. And I think with Westbrook, well, he might not score, but he might be timid. Well, guess what? This fan base is desperately hungry to embrace a guy like and try to help a guy like Ben Simmons. We could also tear them apart, like we saw that. But imagine if we could get him going and embracing him and feed to his ego, and he gets confidence because we feeding him, and if this guy blows even a fart and everybody in the garden goes crazy, this guy is gonna his psychological as will just go skyrocket, and you don't know what we can unlock from a 6'10" point guard who sees the floor, who plays some hell of a defense, who penetrates, who is an NBA All-Star, by the way. You never know. I know it's not a popular opinion. It's not, I know people don't want it. And Ben will be great in New York. We love big flashy
Hang on.
guards. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so Mikal, salute Mikal. Confidence go a long way in basketball. Absolutely. You know, with the confidence. And I think that's why I think Ben Simmons might work in big market as well, like in Los Angeles and in New York. Philadelphia, they're just a different beast. You know, they're a team that even when a guy dresses up as Santa Claus, they dislike him. Philadelphia fans is just another different beast. You know, we saw the disgustingness that happened with Carmelo Anthony this past week. You know, with the fans. You know, totally out of control. Philadelphia is just another world, just another atmosphere. And Chris Zion wants out, but I don't know about New York.
Zion's not coming to New York right now. Maybe in the future.
He will be coming, but not this year. He will be soon. Not yet, okay. But I guaranteed. I just
want Zion to be in shape first. I want Zion to be in shape first. But the whole Ben Simmons thing, I get the whole Philly was being too harsh, which I understand that. But at the same time, I can understand why Philly was being harsh. Maybe not to that rate, but I can understand. He's been in the league for 4 years. Yes, he's a good passer, defender, rebounder. But the fact that he still averages 16 points per game, I'm sorry. You have all this, he's the next LeBron. In today's game, you need to space the floor. I'm not asking him to shoot Steph Curry. That's not what I'm asking him. That's not. But you got to take mid-range shots and hit certain threes. What people need to understand is this. You can't blame everything on his team and his coaching staff. It's also on Ben, because at the same time, Ben needs to also understand that his lack of people need to understand that Ben Simmons needs to be willing to improve his game, because teams are only going to clog the paint. Those are things people are not understanding. On paper, we'll be a better team with Ben, but to me, I would not think that, because think about it. If you have a lineup of RJ, Ben, Cam, Obi, and Mitch, where's the shooting at? Because Ben is not just going to be a random great shooter. RJ is going to get double teamed in the playoffs, though. Obi is good, but he's not going to be an amazing shooter. And also, Mitch Robinson, and also the free throw shooting. Mitch is going to struggle at the line. Obi's not a great free throw shooter. RJ is an up and down free throw shooter. Ben's not a good free throw shooter. Look at our free throw shooting right now. We're one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the NBA. Ben Simmons is not just going to become a random great free throw shooter. To me, I understand the fans and the coaches were too mean about Ben. I understand that. However, Ben Simmons has to be willing to improve. It's not just going to a new team and just bam, you're a better player. It's about your mindset yourself. Not everyone can handle New York. To me, Ben Simmons in New York, to me, would not fit, because you still have the same problems offensively. Yeah, you get a better passer, defender, rebounder. Well, rebound, I think Randall's a better rebounder, but you get a better passer and defender. However, your spacing is still weak. Because what happens if RJ Barrett is not on? What happens if Cam Reddish is not on offensively? So, in my opinion, I just don't think Ben will fit in New York. I want a point guard that can defend, yes, that can pass, but can also space the floor to take the pressure off RJ Barrett. Because you can get shooters around him all you want, but if they don't hit shots in the playoffs, then what's that mean? So, in my opinion, Ben Simmons deserved some criticism from Phil. He deserved it because he wasn't willing to improve his game. You can't just blame everything on Doc Rivers or Joel Embiid or all these guys, because I've seen players get criticized too, but some players are willing to use that as motivation and get better. In my opinion, Ben in New York, to me, would be a disaster because he's mentally fragile. He's a good player, but New York pressure is not that fun. Let's not pretend New York pressure is fun. It's not, because What happens if Ben Simmons gets slowed down in the playoffs? Think about that. You can't just only give me, he can guard all 5 positions. It doesn't matter to me. That's great and all. But in today's playoffs, you have to score the ball. So I'm sorry. If you get, and people say, today's youngsters are not built like that. LaMelo Ball is tough. John Moran is a youngster. He's mentally tough. So I'm not trying to hear that. John Morant's mentally tough. LaMelo Ball's mentally tough. Not this young stars who are mentally tough. Luka Doncic is mentally tough.
Let me pause you on that one, on those two players. John Morant finally going to make his first All-Star team. How many NBA All-Star games has Ben Simmons racked up so far?
3 times.
And he's been in the league how many years?
Who, John Morant or Ben?
No, Ben Simmons.
Let me see. 2017, 18, that's 2. 19, 20, that's 4. 21, 22, 6 times.
6 years. He's been 6 years, been a full-time All-Star. I know 1 year he sat out, right? He didn't play a whole year.
Yeah, I don't count that. He was hurt.
Right, we don't count that. Correct. So he has made, how many All-Stars? How many? Julius Randle, 7 years in the league. Am I correct?
Around that. All
right.
Before Chris, not every young player is soft. LaMelo Ball isn't soft. John Morant isn't soft. Can I keep going?
They haven't made an All-Star. They haven't made.
Doesn't matter. Does not mean they're soft. Doesn't matter. Does not mean they're soft. Not any. Domantas Sabonis isn't a soft player. He's young. SGA is young. He's not soft. Don't move the goalposts, Chris. The fact that you just said all these young players are soft. I'm giving you facts that some young players are not soft. LaMelo Ball had to deal with his dad that was harsh on him, but LaMelo Ball learned to deal with criticism and got better. Even Lonzo Ball. Lonzo started off a little slow, but Lonzo was willing to improve his game.
Well, I agree with you. Can't talk to them a certain way. I agree with that. They would not, these players currently right now that are playing will never be able to play for Chuck Daly. They will never play for a guy like Chuck Daly at all. Those Piston teams were bad MLBs.
I also said Domantas Sabonis young, SGA is young. He's not soft. Can I keep going? Dylan Brooks is not soft. He's young. He's not soft. Can I keep going? Devin Booker's not soft. Luka Doncic is not soft. He's young. I just need almost like 10. Who else is young? Jimmy Butler's pretty young. Well, he's a veteran, but he's not old. He's pretty young. Tyler Hero, he's pretty young. He's not soft. So not every young star or young player is soft. Again, I'm not agreeing with Philadelphia being personal with Ben. I'm just saying that Ben deserves some sort of blame into why Philly lost in the playoffs. Let's not pretend that he's perfect. He's not perfect, all right? He has flaws, though. I mean, he's a good passer. He's a good defender. He's a good rebounder. I'm just saying that in today's game, you're going to need someone that can shoot the ball because in today's game, RJ Barrett, in today's game, you need shooters on the floor. RJ Barrett's not going to hit every open jump shot he takes, Same thing with Cam Reddish. Obi Toppin is good, and I think he will improve, but it's not a guarantee to become a good shooter. It's not a guarantee. Mitchell Robinson's an athletic freak, but don't forget, we're a bad free throw shooter team. Ben is not a good free throw shooter. Did we think of that for a moment? I
got you with that. Let me pause you on a thought there. You're absolutely correct. The points that you brought there, but you don't know what a collective or group of guys come together like those guys. You never know. They might unlock. On paper, they might not, free throws, it might not look good, but they might work well. It's the same thing with let me put your example of the Phoenix Suns. Before Chris Paul was there, Booker was still a rising star, playing better than RJ Barrett, if you ask me, in his years on the field. But they still needed to bring in a Chris Paul in there.
True.
And then you say, wait a minute, they're going to bring a ball handler to take the ball out of Devin Booker's hand. Oh my God, they're going to bring in a monster at center at DeAndre Ayton. Man, he's going to want the ball down the low post.
Don't forget Jay Crowder. They also need Jay Crowder.
But they needed more guys who could shoot. We got Cameron, and so forth and so on. but it worked. They brought them together. If you would, I guaranteed, if we had a time clock or we had this stream on and we would have told you about these players before we seen what the Phoenix Suns hindsight was, we would have been like, oh my God, that doesn't work. Paul needs the ball at all time. Where Booker's touch is coming from? Where is he going to get? Meanwhile, the guy scored 43 points the other night. In Booker against the Jazz. Tell me how that. So we can never pull and think about it that things didn't work when we started to create an example for us this season. Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier. Oh my God, it looked good in the preseason. Man, we're going to be a high scoring for the first week of the NBA season.
We're 5-1.
The highest scoring team in the NBA, with threes, and looked great. Man, this offense is going to be phenomenal. You never know, you never know. That's why, and also when you just finished describing with Ben Simmons, you're describing 2021, 22 season Julius Randle on this Knicks right now. The same exact thing you're describing with Ben Simmons, we're getting that right now. Firsthand, every night from Julius Randle.
Right, and my point I'm saying, and I agree with you, Jedi, you made some great points. I'm just saying is that if you get Ben Simmons on the Knicks, in my opinion, it will be the same situation with Julius Randle. Because Ben, let's not pretend that Ben is mentally tough. He's not. Because look at it right now with Philadelphia. Say what you want about Philadelphia, but the reality is that he doesn't want to play there and he's mentally weak. And look at Julius Randle. Look at the way he's acting. He's acting like a child. He's acting like a child, right? But if you get Ben Simmons and he chooses to not play well, then what? So personally, for me, I want players that are mentally tough. I'm not being personal with Ben. I just don't want to point a player that's mentally weak and that's not willing to stretch the floor. I don't think Ben can shoot. And also, I want him to elevate his game. And I don't think him and RJ would work. That is me. I think if RJ had let's say, DeJounte Murray, or an SGA, a Kevin Porter, or let me find someone else. Hell, a Malcolm Brogdon, if he was available in the offseason, I think it would work just fine. Randle, Ben Simmons, to me, yes, he can pass, defend, etc., but you need a point guard that can space the floor. Because in today's game, RJ Barrett teams.
I get it, and you of course you like a nice Audi A6. You like it. You like a nice Audi, a high speed, fast Audi. But sometimes Chevy Silverado 350 works. Sometimes this is what you need. You don't need the speed car. You need a strong or Ford Raptor, to work. And maybe that's what you need sometimes to make this work. You don't always need the Ferrari. You don't need the expensive vehicle. Remember, it don't. So I think what the Knicks need, they need a strong Ford Raptor in there and to make things work and move the whole move the stuff here. And those guys that you're mentioning, those are Ferraris, those are high end Audis, BMW, 7 Series BMW, so forth, Maseratis, but we can't right now. The Knicks can't. The Knicks, what they need is a strong a Silverado pickup truck that is going to move the hole and move stuff, and maybe that's what they need. That's what we're talking about here. Those things.
We need a leader, man.
We don't know. We don't know if none of these players are mentally tough. No one knows who's mentally tough or not until they've been put in the situation. And we cannot assume that these players are not mentally tough. We don't know. They're not in the situation at the moment at their careers to step up and show what their mental toughness or their mental makeup are. So we don't know. We're talking about the team model. And we're talking about the Model T that we got as a head coach. So Kelvin bringing the good jokes there.
Well, right. Well, speaking of
mentally tough, we'll move on from the Simmons trade. So we will. Bring another
speaking of mentally tough teams, you had the Cleveland Cavaliers who are mentally tough. Hang on.
And we'll leave the Ben Simmons trade out. We all know G Money is not a fan of Ben Simmons, which is fine. Let's agree to disagree at that point. I think if we do a poll, a lot of folks will like it. A lot of people know it's a polarizing argument. All I'm asking is with that Ben Simmons or any trade, we have to have an open mind. If we keep our minds closed and shut, we're not going to grow. We're going to stay small-minded, and when we have an open mind, it allows us to expand, see from everyone's point of view, see everyone's thought process and respect and hear everyone's opinion. And that's why I always ask everyone, please, on any of our shows, any of our programs, or anybody else's program, when everyone brings a point or don't like, let's have an open mind with it. That's why we have the discussion, and we could agree to disagree with it, and we'll just think about it and perspective. And one thing that always gives everyone the reason of the doubt is time. With time, we know if the points were correct or not correct or incorrect, and who was right or wrong. And it's not about who's right or wrong. It's just speaking about their thoughts and their opinions about certain XY player, no matter who it is. But we'll agree to disagree. I personally, I'm in favor of what I thought, what I like, and I have an open mind also to listen to you and understand and hear your thoughts. But why am I not working? There's points. There's points we agree to disagree. There's good points on both. There's pros and cons, but that's why these guys out there make millions of dollars to make these executive decisions where me and you are just sitting here on a Saturday afternoon we're on our butts on a hard chair and talking about it. So we'll agree to disagree with that, G Money.
Yeah. But speaking of mentally tougher teams, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're being mentally tough all year. 30-19. They've won 8 of their last 9. Darius Garland's had an all-star type season. Jared Allen. I think Darius Garland or Jared Allen's making the all-star team, and he should. What do you think?
Yeah, he's played very well. Garland has elevated. That's what the point guard needs to do. He elevates his teammates around him. He's surrounded with certain talents, and he's floor general that helps and elevate everyone around him. He doesn't have to impact the score. He doesn't need to shoot all the time and score.
Right.
And he could defer. And that argument, with that said, he elevates his teammates, and that's why I was very hesitant when they were trying to dangle Colin Sexton toward the Knicks. I understand he's good. He scored 25 points a game, but he never elevated his team around him.
That's true.
And you give the range to Garland, and he has. I'm not saying I'm not saying Colin Sexton is not a bad player. No. He doesn't have that intangible that it's needed. He's still a very good player. If I could get him for a second round pickup and his rights, I agree. But I wouldn't trade like we were hearing before all summer. We could trade Obi quickly, RJ. We'll bring
that was stupid.
And it's on record. I'm not going to mention where, but there was a lot of trade rumors. People were agreeing. That's why we have to have that open mind. Back to the argument. Open mind. I'll listen to it. Okay, open mind. But my opinion is like, at time, like I always say, and I always said it, no matter whose opinion, even mine, I've been wrong tons of times.
Same here.
And it's not about being right or wrong either. It's about giving your opinion and having an open mind to express it and listen to it and debate about it. And Colin Sexton, in my opinion, he's a good player, but he doesn't elevate his teammates better. And you can see where Garland has elevated and brought his team to a much better place. 10 games over 500, 10 games plus over 500.
11 games, well. 30-19.
Yeah, a 10 game plus. Right. And what is it? A game and a half to 2 games out of the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference.
They're 2 games behind Miami for number 1.
Right. No one ever thought that. No one ever thought that. No one expected that. And whoever took that bet in the beginning of the year in FanDuel, and if you're a Cavaliers fan, salute. If they have that early cash out. Salute, you're making, your Cavaliers is giving you an exciting season. We know how we felt. We were in that predicament last year. Hector, salute, Hector. Good to see you, man. Hector, hope you're doing well, my friend. And we'll see how that goes there, and we'll see how that with the I personally like the move that Garland has helped his team elevate, and they're doing it now. They also have size. This is why Laurie Marketing. You're talking about Jared Allen. And they took, and that's why when you go to the draft, you got to be smart. Take best player available. They Mobley, they didn't really need that length, but they took length. They're and you cannot teach his height in the NBA. Skill set you could teach, techniques, defense, to a degree, and and it's because defense is effort and technique as well, but you can't teach height, and Cavaliers have height, man. They're high, they're tall, they're athletic, they're good job there. They're doing a good job up there in Cleveland. Phenomenal job, well deserved. Garland also, they brought in veteran. Rubio goes down, Smart move. They pounced. They bought themselves that Rajon Rondo in there. Smart
Mhm,
veteran.
good
Although he
move.
might not give much at times, he might have his better days behind him. But it's a veteran out there to see on the court to help them out. The moves they're doing, A+ right now. This season they're having an A+ season, in my opinion.
Mm, I agree. I agree. I mean, they're top 5 in defensive rating. They share the ball to gain the transition. And don't forget, too, Kevin Love has had a resurgent season. He's looked like the Minnesota Kevin Love at times. You can argue he's been 6 man of the year for the Cavs, hitting some big time threes, scoring the paint. He's done a great job. You also have Shitty Osman hitting some big shots for them off the bench. Even Dean Wade, you saw it against the Knicks, hit some 3 big threes in the fourth quarter for Dean Wade. And you also have Mobley, who's the rookie of the year so far. And don't forget, JB Bickerstaff. Don't forget about him. He's done a great job.
Coach of the year so far.
Coach
One
of
of
the
the
year
coach
so
of the year
far.
candidates. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
There's him. There's also Billy Donovan with the Chicago Bulls. And the Bulls have been a surprise. I know the Bulls have been up and downs of late, but the Bulls have been treading water a little bit despite injury. So for the Cavs, if they were healthy right now with Sexton and they had Market, because Market has missed some games too as of late. If they were fully healthy, they can even been more dangerous. I'm not saying they'll go far in the playoffs, but I do believe, I do. Salute, Russ. What's going on, homie? What's going on, man? How you doing, man? I do believe that Cleveland will be a tough out in the playoffs. I think if they can stay healthy, they can be a tough out. I think they can give Brooklyn, Miami, Milwaukee, Chicago problems due to their speed and their defense. And now you have some experience with Rondo, Love, Osman, because those guys have been there in the finals before. My only thing is that we don't know how Garland's going to look in the playoffs, Dean Wade. We don't know how they're going to look in the playoffs. But I do think if the Cavs, I think Cleveland, to me, they had the defense. I think they need another offensive piece if they want to go far. What do you think, man?
Cleveland, I don't know what they could add. I don't I don't follow too much of their games, but I'm going by what we saw against New York. Kevin Love, I think might run out of gas. I think they could use, be honest with you, what they could really look really good in there, but I don't think we have a fit to bring. Alec Burks
Burks could help the Cavs.
Could help the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I would hate to say that, me being a Knicks fan, saying Burks over there, what could we get for it? Maybe I don't think they own their own. I think they have the. I don't know if they a second round pick for Alec Burks. Could you see that happening?
Probably.
You could probably do that, but maybe you could get something better for Burks. The Knicks really want to just sell. He could help Cleveland Cavaliers. They need that type of player. Terrence Ross. Look for Terrence Ross, a player to be moved, maybe to Cleveland. Will help them. Instant offense off there.
You can help in the playoffs, just for athletic too.
Right, because they that's a type of player they could receive in there because they have so much length and size. They could afford to bring in a not so tall offensive player in there. Even Norman Powell as well from Trailblazers, though I don't think it fits under the salary cap. But just if talent wise, they need that type of player who could score, who really that could give them that mismatch at times. That's the type of player I think Cleveland needs to go along with Garland and so forth. Even though, when we're talking about Wade, he's not the fleetest foot, but man, he's has that nice shot. When they all have size, man, that's what gives them advantage. Man. If Brooklyn plays the Cavaliers, that could be a scare. That could give them a scare, especially.
That could go 6 games. That might go 6.
Yeah, that will. I think it will. If they played each other, but we have a lot to talk about that later down the road. It says, and Dave said it, we'll literally trade everyone at this point, even though I like.
We should keep RJ. We're going to keep RJ. We're going to keep RJ. I think New York's going to keep RJ. But another team we're not talking about, the Minnesota Timberwolves right now. They're half game up on the Lakers. After they had won 4 out of 5, they lost 2 in a row to the Warriors and the Suns. Minnesota, they're the number 8 seed. They're one of the best offensive teams. They average 111. They're a quick offensive team. Russell had the shin injury he had against Golden State. Anthony Edwards had a phenomenal year. Carlton had an all-star type season. As of right now, and Pat Beverly's got banged up, but where do you see Minnesota ending up at as of right now, if you had to guess?
Man, that's an interesting team. They're middle of the pack, They got good players. Anthony Edwards just finished coming out this week at a 40 point performance. Just not so long ago. Recently, Karl Anthony Towns. They have a minor big three. Um, Disappointed is Beasley.
Yeah, he's been inconsistent all year.
Inconsistent. I'm real disappointed. He had a good year last year. I also like they got a couple players they could make minor deals with. Who will be a nice fit if they could fit in there in that core? Harrison Barnes will be a nice pick.
Yeah.
You put a Harrison Barnes in there, Minnesota. That's a nice pick, but I don't know how they're guys. I don't know what their financial construction is. If they have the money to move it, to bring there. I'm just talking about talent wise, the player that guy could fit in there with them. Heck, if we could get in a three-team deal and they could fit, I wouldn't mind selling Julius Randle to Minnesota because he is extremely great friends with Karl Anthony Towns. They're very good friends. They work out in the summer along with Miles Turner. Those three, they work out also together. If you could 3-team deal, somehow have Minnesota involved, where you could send Randall to Minnesota, or I don't know who we get. I'm just hypothetically speaking, guys.
Possibly
They could use there to the Timberwolves. And Russell will take the mascot, the Wolvie.
I would help. Send the mascot to MSG, man. Send the mascot to MSG. I would love the mascot to come here, man. But
I want to sit next to James Dolan.
Pretty much, please. For the T-Wolves, if the Wolves want to, if they want to, howl in the night, get to the playoffs for the first since 2018. Minnesota needs defense. Minnesota, to me, they need another forward. They have the guards. I think they need another forward. I think the Wolves need another forward. Do you think, if I were Minnesota, I heard trade rumors with D'Angelo Russell. I don't think that's going to happen. I think if I were the Wolves, I'll keep D'Angelo Russell.
I would too.
You keep Edwards. You keep Cat. I'll get another forward. I think they'll keep Pat Beverly. I'll get another forward if we can. Because if they can stay healthy, I think they'll make the playoffs if they're healthy. They got to stay healthy.
Yeah, because if you could trade McDaniels, Beasley, they got some good pieces. I like McDaniels. He impressed me the games we played against the Knicks. His athleticism, his quickness, speed. I was very impressed with Mac. I'm not saying he's nothing to rank home about either. I'm not saying he's going to be an all NBA player, but he was a very good serviceable NBA player. You could package him with some deals and trades and make a move. Like I said, and try to bring there a power forward in there. You
think Robert Covington would help the T-Wolves? Robert Covington.
Didn't even thought about that. Another guard, but do we really need another guard? I think they really need is a power forward though.
He's like a forward. Covington
forward
like
guard, but he's more like a small forward.
Yeah.
You know what? It could because he could. I'm trying to think of what would. You have Edwards. No, it won't work. It won't be a good partner with the Celtics. But they it'll be interesting to see if the Celtics break either or Tatum or Brown, but I don't see him fitting with Edwards. No, with Edwards there in their situation. I'm trying to think of the, here's a name. You want to bring in. You want to try to get like back to Sacramento's the hub of everybody's darling. To be honest with you, everybody wants to poach guys out of there. You could actually see in a low level deal Marvin Bagley with Karl Anthony Towns, and that's like a minor really extremely poor man's twin tower, in there, Minnesota. Change of scenery, that could be something that could help them out. Trade.
Right, and great point there. And Bagley can also stretch the floor when he's healthy. He can get to the rack, athletic free. Salute, Jose. What's going on, Jose Melo?
Jose Melo in the building. Salute.
What's going on? And also that can help Cat too, because you have another stretch big too and athletic freak too. And I think Bagley needs to go to a playoff caliber team. And now you have the Wolves are a playoff caliber team. And Chris Finch has done a pretty good job too with his rotation. So gotta get Chris Finch that moment. If the Wolves can just get healthy, because they've been losing some bodies, if they can just get healthy, they can have an opportunity to make the playoffs. And I'm gonna shock people. I think they'll make the playoffs this season over the LA Clippers. I think the Clippers missed the playoffs this year. I think the Lakers, I know the Lakers have been up and down. I understand it. But I think the Lakers will turn things around a little bit at the end of the season. I think the Clippers, I know they're a feisty team, but if you notice with the Clippers, they always dig themselves these holes And I think they're going to get tired at the end of games. Because when you're digging still these deficits, you're going to get tired. There's a lot of energy spending. And remember, we don't know when Paul George is coming back. We don't know when Kawhi Leonard is coming back. Again, the Clippers play hard. But I think the Timberwolves make the playoffs over the Clippers. Do you think the Clippers make the playoffs, Jedi?
Okay.
If you
I
have to
have
guess?
I have to see their schedule. And if they're hovering near a
I
couple
can
games
bring it
out,
up.
if they're hovering near, and at the end, let's say the last 15 games, and they're hovering near play-in or playoff opportunity, and because they were saying Leonard is ahead of schedule and his surgery might play the year, if George returns, there's a lot of ifs, but if they were to, play and man develops and so forth, they could actually sneak in. We'll have weeks to talk about that. Still over 40 plus games there, but Anthony Edwards,
Edwards is
not so much.
underrated.
He's good.
Underrated. Man.
He's good. He's a tough nosed guy. He's a blue collar. He fits a nitty gritty, city gritty committee. That type of deal. That kind of rough, tough. He's ready to go type of player. I hope Minnesota knows what they're getting in him. I think personally, I think he's going to be a good one. I don't know. He might not live up to his full potential, but man, he's going to bring whatever he got night in, night out with Anthony Edwards.
Well, right. Speaking of the team living up to their full potential, well, kind of, could be a little bit better. The Charlotte Hornets. They're the number 7 seed right now. They've won 6 out of the last. They've won. Hang on. The Hornets have won 5 out of the last 7. They nearly blew a 20-point lead to the Lakers, but they hanged on. What do you think about the Charlotte Hornets so far?
Wow, they're a hell of an offensive team. They got scoring from everywhere. I'm actually surprised with Kelly Oubre. Wow, he really played well there. Playing a little bit over his head, but that's just when you have a team of players, and this is what a point guard does, man. You got guys there with Ball and Rozier, both of them. Distribute the ball. They're gritty. They get where they need to go. Bridges is having a phenomenal year. Bridges is having
most improved player of the year.
You just took that out of my mouth. He's snatching that trophy away from Julius Randle and said, "This is mine this year." Phenomenal job by Bridges. Playing over his head, because that's when you happen and this is what the Knicks thought they were going to envision by bringing in Kemba Walker, Fournier to help him. And it actually helped. What we envisioned the Knicks being is what the Hornets are being with us. And that's what we thought. When we started the season, we thought the Knicks were going to be the Hornets. The way they play, score, basketball. I'm not saying exactly identical, but the way they play, fun, and Bridges having that year he's having, we're expecting Randall to do that, but it didn't perspire. But Charlotte, they're a center away. They get themselves a defensive center, a good center there. They're dangerous. They get, watch out for Mo Bamba opportunity. Mo Bamba being traded maybe to Charlotte. You look for maybe someone from the Western Conference team, available. Willie Cauley-Stein was released, so I'm surprised Charlotte didn't scoop him up. That was a player they could have bought in there. Those kind of, watch out for Charlotte. They're a center away. They're very good. And they're good. And the Hornets are very good. Lack of experience, that's what blew the lead and makes mistakes. Yeah, you're right. They're veteran, a couple veteran, 2 away. I agree. Look for if Charlotte doesn't do anything in the moves or couldn't do anything, they will be a buyout candidate. When teams start buying out certain players, look for the Hornets to be a team to pounce on, to bring someone in there. I'm actually surprised. I don't know if he's maybe you elaborate and help me out, G-Money.
Right, Rich?
Charlotte why don't they? I don't know if he's still in the league or if he's injured. Jamil Okafor wouldn't.
No, he's not in the league anymore. Okafor, no. You think he'll fit with the Hornets? You think so?
I'm just saying a 10-day contract. Bring him in there, see what he's able to give you for now. Until if they don't make. Because Charlotte, let's face it, they're a little bit cap strapped. They might not have to bring in, buy. And that's why I said they're going to be a buy-in market team for teams that would like to play, see what's going on. There is still cachet to say I play for Michael Jordan. Still, even though he hasn't been such a great executive, but that's for another conversation for another day. But the fact that you're still going to play for Jordan on this team, and you sign a buyout contract to hitch into that team. that could help. They do need a center. If they could get this off, a defensive minded center, that'd be phenomenal. But although they have nothing really to give up, no assets, too much
Right,
intriguing
right,
without blowing up their team. Maybe a PJ
right,
Washington, but why would you want to break up the apple cart? How phenomenal they've been playing.
right, right. Another thing too, the game, the transition, they shoot a lot of threes. The
Hold
Hornets
on.
love the
I,
three.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Breaking news, folks, on the Notorious G Money
Oops.
report. Huge breaking news. Tom Brady has announced his retirement from the NFL. Seriously.
Tom Brady, wow.
Yeah. Just announced it. He's done.
Whoa. It was a nice career for Tom Brady, 7-time champ. Tom Brady. I know many people don't like Tom Brady because of certain things, but he was a great player, arguably the best quarterback of all time. Tom Brady. Tom Brady had good vision, could throw the football like crazy, can run when he wanted to. So Tom, 7-time champion, 5 Super Bowl MVPs, that 15 Pro Bowls, 6 All Pros. Wow, man. Led the NFL in all passing yards, 243 career wins. Wow, man.
Yeah. Salute to Tom Brady. We'll make a stream about that later on. Just wanted to break the news on the G Money report. We're back to basketball, but we keep an eye. Salute Tom Terrific, the second Tom Terrific, for a wonderful career. But you didn't beat the Giants, so that's all I can put a smile in. But no, it's your day. Enjoy retirement with your family, and we'll get back to the hoops. We'll stay another 10 more minutes before we wrap up. G Money,
Right.
we're just going over the league. The final team. A lot of talk there. Salary cap implementation. The owners doesn't. The owner of though having a lot of money doesn't want to pay luxury tax, and it's the Dallas Mavericks.
Right. The Dallas Mavs. What do you think? The Mavericks right now, let's see. The Mavericks are number 5 in the West. They're a game and a half back of the Jazz for number 4. They're a half game above the Nuggets for number 6. The Mavericks, they're great. They're a good defensive team. They're improving defensively this year, being physical defensively. But their offense, if you actually watch the games, it's been inconsistent though. The Mavericks' problem to me, they have the point guard. Losing Tim Hardaway is going to hurt because he fractured his foot against the Warriors. I think the Mavericks need a forward. What do you think, man? And another rim protector to help up Porzingis. What do you think?
They need those two, but they have nothing desirable around the league. Just one player. But man, if you're where you're at and your standings, it all depends on what the front office, the owner thinks. Are we legitimately an NBA championship team? Are we really that, or do we take a step back to take 3 steps forward? My saying, and it's up to what the organization, what the front office, what the owner wants to do there. If he thinks that, maybe I'm not saying to tank or punt, but maybe let's take one step back here. We might have to lose them, what makes financial sense. All is saying that Finley, they want to sign Finley. Although I think Finley would be a good addition for Minnesota if they could trade him, and if they want to get some assets in there, maybe they could do that. Jalen Brunson also is going to be a restricted free agent. They say they have to make a choice, either Finley or Brunson, and they're going to keep. They won't be able to keep both, or they don't want to keep both. But Jose Melo, Dallas should sign Bagley in the offseason. Sign and trade is a perfect fit. You know what, Jose Melo, that's a good deal. That's a good one too there. But I don't know what, like I said, I don't know what Dallas wants to do. They do need a power forward badly, and we have one in New York that is a native from Dallas.
Yeah,
23 million.
The number 30. You want that 30 if you're Dallas.
That'd be nice, but I don't want Kristaps Porzingis coming back here at all. I don't want him in New York. We mentioned a little bit earlier. No way, no how. We passed. Thank you. Been there, done that. We'll take Brunson. And I know they're not gonna get Finley because Finley is gonna be signed. They could sign either. It was the reason why. There's nothing that we want, but him, and the money doesn't work for Brunson, and the money, whatever the case is, I don't know. Dallas is in an awkward position. You might have to three team deal with it. But They're just a tough. They're in the middle. They're in that they got false sense of we could actually compete and get to the Western Conference, but they're not NBA championship material.
No, they're not.
They're not.
They're
But
not.
they have a hell of an all world talent in Luka that even if he gets hot, could put his team on the back and take them all the way to the Western Conference. They're in the world, you could see that. You know, if he gets he is that damn world talent that I could actually do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what Dallas wants to do, G Money.
Mm-hmm. Right. Because look at Doncic has given everything for the Mavs: passing, rebounding, can go to the rack. He needs to work on his 3-point shot, but he's a good passer. Can hit the mid range. He's an awesome player, man. Luka Doncic is a beast, man. Luka Doncic has been looking ridiculous, man. They need to, yes, Luka needs to work on his defense, which he does, and needs to be a better 3-point shooter, and needs to be a better free throw shooter. But other thing, the Mavs need to give him the pieces for him to succeed. The Mavs need to get the pieces for him to succeed. But the thing is, like, do they have the cap room to do it? I don't know, because they give Luka Doncic that extension earlier. I think it was a 5-year deal that they gave it. Supermax. It was a 5-year, $207 million deal. Supermax in the summer. So I don't know. And I thought Porzingis and him would work in 2020, the first year. Technically second year, because 2019 Porzingis was traded, but he didn't play because he was hurt. And then 2020, the bubble year, it worked well until he got hurt in the playoffs. I thought it was going to work well with him and Porzingis, but it didn't really fit. If you're the Mavericks, man, you have to get trips. You have to get some pieces around him, around Luka Doncic, man, if they want to do something. Because here's the thing: you got Reggie Bullock for defense. You got Franny Lakina for defense. You got some defensive players now. They need scoring. The Mavericks need shooters, man. They need shooters. And now you lost Tim Hardaway due to the fact that he hurt his foot against the Warriors. They need guys that can space the foot and create their own shot. Because the only guy creating their own shot is really Luka Doncic and sometimes Tim Hardaway. And they don't have that right now.
Right. We'll see with that there. Next week we'll probably be closer to the trading deadline. Maybe some trades have bought in. That's why we'll keep posted here on the network on the G Money Report. Hoops Report. I'm gonna say thank you for having me on, G Money. I know you're gonna close out the show. Thank you for always having me on. I appreciate it and always enjoy speaking with you. So that's it. Thank you guys. Hit that like and subscribe, and we'll leave you with G Money here to close out.
You're welcome, Jedi. Thank you for coming in, Jedi. That was Jedi. Thank you for coming in, man. And thank you everyone for coming into the show. You can subscribe to my man Jedi, and you can click the like too. You can follow him on Linktree, etc. and Jedi Network, talking about NBA, NFL, etc. Thank you, Calvin. Thank you for everything. And before I let you go, enjoy the games. Enjoy the AFC Championship games. Tomorrow, you got the Bengals and the Chiefs. The Bengals trying to get to their third Super Bowl. They lost the previous two to the 49ers. The Chiefs trying to go to their third straight Super Bowl. Then after that, you got the Rams and the 49ers in LA. And I want to throw this out there. The Super Bowl is in SoFi Stadium in LA. So if the Rams were to win tomorrow, they'll be the second team in NFL history to host the Super Bowl. Ironically, the Tom Brady and the Buccaneers hosted the Super Bowl last year against the Chiefs. So keep an eye on those games. If I had to make my quick Super Bowl prediction, I'm going with Chiefs-Rams. That's my Super Bowl prediction. Salute Alex, by the way. So with that, thank you for coming to the stream. Hope everyone's doing safe. Keep your eyes out for trades. Enjoy the games. And I'll see you guys next time. See you later, everybody.